Jackie Blue.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm pleased to speak to the second reading of the Injury Prevention, Rehabilitation and Compensation Amendment Bill. The Government needed to bring this bill to the House, Mr Speaker, because of a serious concern about the financial sustainability of ACC. National would like to thank the ACT Party for agreeing to support the bill through all stages and for the Murray Party for getting the bill to Select Committee. Mr Speaker, there has been a growing gap between ACC's assets and liabilities. In ACC's 2008-09 annual report, a loss of $4.8 billion was reported. This comes on top of a $2.4 billion loss for the year before and shows the ACC scheme is currently financially unsustainable. ACC's liabilities have grown from $9.4 billion to $24 billion in just 4 years. Its liabilities now stand at $13 billion more than its assets. That's the equivalent of more than $3,000 for every New Zealander. The Government, Mr Speaker, could not stand back and do a do-nothing approach. We could not stand back in denial that everything was fine. That was unacceptable. Indeed, ACC Chairman John Judge has stated if this trend is allowed to continue, the scheme's very existence could be under threat. One option would have been, under the current law, to hike up all levies, but as the view of the Government, that would be too hard for New Zealanders. It was clear that ACC could not continue in this way, and then there had to be changes and strategies to tackle the huge increases in claims costs from greater claim numbers, deteriorating rehabilitation rates and unfunded scheme extensions. Mr Speaker, this bill is about securing for New Zealand a financially sustainable 24/7 no-fault accident insurance scheme. There are a number of amendments that have been made that will help ACC back on a more sustainable path. These amendments will also make the scheme affordable, sustainable and fair. Importantly, Mr Speaker, none of these changes will apply to current claimants or their entitlements. What we're doing is looking to the future. However, disentitlements for criminals will be retrospective. On the recommendation of the committee, entitlements for dependents of offenders are more clearly defined. Mr Speaker, the changes to the bill include pushing out the full funding date from 2014 to 2019, reversing 2008 income compensation extensions covering casuals, part-timers, non-earners and abatements for holiday pay, reversing vocational rehabilitation changes, 6% hearing loss threshold, reversing entitlements for willfully self-inflicted injury and suicide, strengthening disentitlements for criminals, allowing safety incentives for employers and vehicles, and financial reporting. Mr Speaker, this Government is acting in a responsible manner to ensure that New Zealanders have a sustainable 24/7 no-fault accident insurance scheme. I commend this bill to the House.